What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. All right, here we are on the 11th of June, sitting at about $109.6 thousand with 22 hours and 17 minutes left in the day. Pulling down a little bit. We did the same thing yesterday, actually. We pulled all the way down to about 108.3K on the 10th yesterday there. We came up and we actually closed pretty damn neutral. Basically, right where we opened up, we closed there, forming a bullish dragonfly doji. Not always does this promote immediate growth, right? We've seen candles like this. We still went down. Let's see. Let's see if we can find others. It happens, right? It's not a guarantee. Just like a candle like this to the opposite end doesn't mean that we have to go down. We actually went up here. I don't know. It's more common. It's more common to definitely continue. It is a bullish candle, but I'm just saying, counting on this candle alone as a reason for going higher, I don't think is reason enough, right? Really, we're probably at a stopping point here from a high to a low, hitting that 886 area. I would very much expect that we do go lower, but there is something that I think is a little bit beneficial or good about what happened yesterday. The fact that we didn't go below the golden ratio immediately, like I was talking about, gives me stronger conviction to believe that we will find support in the golden zone itself and probably at the golden ratio. So I do think that 107.4K will be the area that we find support. Still important to consider that, yes, we could go all the way down to about 104.6K, but I like that 107.4K area. Maybe even 106K happens. Anything and everything in between this zone really is fair game, but I think that the reaction that I was talking about yesterday or a couple days ago, I think it was yesterday, 886 down to the 382. I would say that's off the table at this point in time, or at least it's less likely. The most probable outcome right now would be that we're going to go to the golden ratio and then bounce from here, because this is actually very bullish consolidation, you guys. If you move up, again, this is a rarity. This is not common. This does not have. Prove me wrong. Pay attention to it anytime I draw fibs. Tell me how often this happens. It's like less than 1 out of 10 times. It literally does not happen often. And then beyond that, the fact that you're consolidating basically in the 786 and 886 area predominantly with a little bit of a leak below the 786 here, it's very, very bullish. I still would anticipate that you hit the golden ratio. I mean, if you move up from here, it's just like absurdly freaking resilient. That's for damn sure. And anything can happen. Nothing has to follow the rules. These are all just statistical probabilities. But looking at the 4-hour RSI here, we do have a little bearish divergence going on between these highs here, right? Higher high, or basically tied up highs, the same exact highs here and then lower highs there. I would think that if we were continuing up higher, we would have seen more volume come in, right? We didn't see any volume come in. So again, and if we were to go lower than the golden ratio, I think we would have done that yesterday. The fact that we didn't tells me that we probably do find support around 107K, 107.5K. So just a little bit lower, probably like $2,000 lower. I would expect we do that today. And it's Wednesday, so the rest of the week will actually move up. I bet by the end of this week, you guys, we're at new all-time highs. We're going to be at new all-time highs by the end of this week. Ain't that something? That's awesome. Above 112K, we might even be at 115K by the end of this week. How freaking fantastic would that be? Let's look at the 1-hour time frame real quick here. Looking at this, yeah, the 1 hour looks a bit bearish too, rejecting this area, right? Finding support in these same areas, though, man, it's very, I mean, overall, it's bullish. It's an absurdly bullish RSI, but just right here, momentarily bearish is what I would say. 15-minute time frame, also looking a little bit bearish, relatively speaking. Yeah, you're moving up with less volume than you were moving up with here. I think that you tried, you just didn't have enough gas in the tank, so you got to go and find support somewhere else. Probably down again at that 107. Was it 107.5K? I forget what was the price. Hold up. Is it this one here? What did I do? It was this high to low. My bad. Yeah, 107.4K. Something like that. After we do that, I would expect that we go higher. And if by chance we do go lower, again, it is possible that we could go down to the 0.5 or the 382. It's even possible still that we could go below this low, and if we were to go below this low, I would think that we encounter that $95,000 to $96,000 area. But I would say that the probability of going below this low is like less than 20% at this point in time. It's definitely not a likelihood that I would say is going to happen. The likelihood is that we find support somewhere around here. We start moving up, and after we move up, I mean, maybe starting today or tomorrow, I would assume that we're on our way to about 115 to 120K, probably even higher than that. Let's say 100 121 to 130K first, and then after that we will be rocking and rolling up to 140K, all the way up to 160K, 170K, 180K inevitably sometime in July. Minimum target by the end of July would be, and probably even by the middle of July, like the 20th of July. I think it was the 21st that we determined, right? 161K at a minimum. But I really do believe that we're going to interact with this 2272 and go just above there. That's the very common thing to do, is to wick just above the 2272 and close below it. So something at about 180, just above 180K. Ultimately, by the end of July is what we're expecting. I will not be celebrating when we're at 180. I mean, I'll be celebrating. I'll be happy, but maybe I should rephrase that. I'm not going to pretend that I'm correct whenever we're at 180K. Yes, I'm the guy that's been calling for 180K. But the thing is, man, I've been calling for 180K for months now, since we were back here, since we were down here, since we, like this whole time. I thought that it was going to happen in March, April. We didn't think it was going to happen in May, to be fair. Like at the end of April, we did say end of June. That's when we started to say end of June and July. But the timing is the hardest part to get with this. So even though we'll be celebrating because we're up here, I won't pretend that I was right or anything. I mean, sure, I was right about where the price was going, but not when it was getting there. And even still, I was calling for these same areas, 120 to 140K. Even back here, I wasn't anticipating that we drop like this right up until we had like that initial point. But I don't care, man. Who cares about being right or wrong? I'm just saying. Somebody was asking, or not asking in the comments. Somebody said, dude, you're going to be vetted, or they said something like you'll be goated if we go to 180K by July. Like, you're the only person that called that, and it's like, no, that target's shifted. I appreciate it, but we got to be honest, right? Got to be honest. I don't want to be one of those guys. The space is rampant with those guys, man. Shout out to Crypto Crew University. Here we are looking at the, let's see, high to low of the last cycle. I would anticipate that we go all the way up to about $174,000. Consolidating between the 1272 and again 174K to 180K. Oftentimes, actually, Bitcoin does wick above its golden ratio. So the idea that you wick above your golden ratio and the idea that you wick above your 2272 here, it kind of culminates together. It makes a lot of sense. Bitcoin really does like to go above its golden ratio, and I guess I'll end the video with that. Let's actually look at this real quick. So we're on the Binance chart. Let's look at the index chart so that we have more historical data. Come on now. Let's see here. Is that the 2013 cycle? Yeah, okay. We'll do the 2017 cycle then, actually. My bad. High to low. High to low right here. You can see last cycle we did wick just above the golden ratio twice, actually. That's where we found resistance. If we take last cycle's high to low, the golden ratio is all the way up there at that same 170 to 180K area. If we wick just above there, something like that, 180, 190. And then based off of that high to low that we were at from January to the beginning of April, that 2272, same kind of thing here, going just above there. So it makes a lot of sense to me that that's where we're going to go. We did a little bit more of an in-depth video yesterday talking about why it makes sense that Bitcoin would at least go to 160K, but really I feel like it just makes more sense we would see that area there. So I don't know what else to say, guys. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point, so I'll probably end it there. Weekly RSI, I will say, closing green, and I am anticipating that we close this week green. We might even close at new all-time highs. 4 days, 23 hours left. That's going to be a very bullish reversal on the RSI, man. Whenever you reject the overbought zone and then you come back up into it like this, that's a very bullish setup indeed. I wonder if we can find an example of that happening here. Let's see. Do we have any examples? Something like this, kind of. I don't know if I would call it that. That's okay. I guess we don't have an example of that. Not on the weekly RSI, at least. Maybe some other stuff. Here you kind of rejected it, I guess, right there. And you did continue up a little bit, but this was that was the end of the cycle, double top, maybe not the right circumstances, right? Here you rejected it. You found support below the 60. I wouldn't call, I don't know. That's not as bullish, but still bullish. Immediate continuation. You consolidated for a little bit of time. That kind of idea. But I just think this look right here on the RSI is even more bullish. If we can close this week green, if we can get into the overbought zone, that would be really awesome. Anytime that we're in the overbought zone for Bitcoin, typically on the weekly time frame, we do see weeks of continuation. I believe that anytime you close in the overbought zone, what is it? You get like a 30% move on average within like a 8-week span or less. Maybe it's like 4 to 6 weeks. I forget what it was. We did a whole analysis on that too. Like what happens when you get overbought from the closing price once you get overbought was this week here. Where was your high? It was like 34%. I think the average was like 30% growth in the course of like 6 weeks on average, right? 6 weeks from now puts us in the middle / end of July. And a 30% growth. We're not in the overbought zone yet, and this week hasn't closed yet, but let's just pretend that we close a little bit higher. I mean, 30% over 6 weeks, that puts you at 140. We're probably going to see an above average move. And that's to be expected too, actually. We will probably see above average movements going forward in the rest of the cycle here because it is the end of the cycle. Typically, as the cycle approaches the end from a time perspective, we do see larger, more robust moves happen. So if you've been bored with this cycle, if it hasn't been enough, or even better, if it's been fun for you, if it's been everything that you've wanted to see, buckle up, man. It's about to get more exciting. We really are about to see the finale phase. I mean, we're in it right now. I think we are in the finale phase right now, and it's only going to prove itself as we go higher. This is actually, relative to anything else that we've seen in this cycle, this is the smallest consolidation phase. If we start moving up from here, it's the smallest consolidation phase we've seen on a weekly basis during any of these moves up, right? Here we stopped for like 6 weeks. Here we stopped for like 8 weeks. Here we stopped for months. Here we stopped for months, right? This would be the smallest consolidation phase, just showing and detailing what I'm saying here, that as the cycle progresses, as we get to that finale phase, things get a little bit more robust and tenacious, out of control, but to the upside, right? I think that we are in that now, and when we're looking back at this months from now, we're going to be like, damn, man, this is where it all began. We just broke out of all-time highs, and bam. Remember all the silly people that were talking about prices going down below 50K, or that we were going to see some kind of double top here and start a bear market as if it was like this? Those silly people, man. Yeah, that's what we're going to be saying in about 4 to 5, 6 months, something like that. But I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. And just if you're in certain places in the world, if you're in like California or Chicago right now, I hope everybody's safe. And if you're protesting, I don't agree with it, whatever. But protest. It's your right. Do that. But do it peacefully, right? Don't get yourself in trouble. A lot of people, and I don't really mean to get political, but I guess we're getting it here. A lot of people, think about it like this, right? If you have a problem with the current administration and you don't like what they're doing, you want to protest. And I don't. I wouldn't go out and protest. I don't have a problem with what's happening right now in the current administration, other than maybe the big beautiful bill, right? And our deficit going up through the roof. Other than that, not really anything else. If you have a problem with it, you're probably going to want to vote. You're probably going to want to vote in about 3 years, 3.5 years, right? Well, you won't get to vote if you make your peaceful protests violent and you get arrested on felony charges. So just be smart out there, people. And if you're not the people that are in support of that stuff, just have compassion for your fellow humans. There are two sides to every story, and most of the time, most humans, even if they disagree with you, even if they're doing things that you disagree with, they're just trying to be good people. They're just leading from the heart, even if their moral compass is misguiding them. We're all human beings, and we're all Americans, and no matter where you are in the world, we're all people. Be kind to each other. Try to understand each other. Don't incite violence. The world is getting crazy, man. Let's try to dial it down a bit. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye.